Hello.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, David. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Enjoying my day off, more or less. Got some things done today, a little bit. Not as much as I wanted to, though, but I got a lot of promos done, and I got to do a live interview with a DJ. It's going to be really cool. So that was some good stuff. Anyway, so yeah, I've been doing things today, but I'm good. And you?
Oh, well, I'm hanging in there, trying to keep away from everybody so I don't get the flu like everybody else.
Yeah, I just got that about last month. It kicked my butt to the curb.
Oh, yeah, that's what I hear. I hear it's pretty bad.
Yeah. And I still had to work, so I was just dragging my butt behind me, but I managed somehow. Yeah.
So, now you're the only, you were used to be with Avatar, and now you've created this new band. So give me a little bit of history about all that.
Okay, so flashback to 1988. We in my old band Avatar from Fresno, California, we put together this album, and we had this manager that put us in the studio. And he was a real jerk, total jerk. I mean, the jerk of jerks, the king of jerks. And so he was always doing dumb stuff, and embarrassing us and stuff. And, he didn't belong in that position. Let's just say that. So anyway, we got this album done, and we started gigging and not really touring, but just gigging local gigs from Fresno area. And then we made our way to LA and started doing shows over there too. And so our biggest gig in the world was when we headlined the Troubadour down in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. Our name was on the marquee, the whole works. It was like, wow, we've arrived,
Uh-huh.
But this jerk of a manager, he put us in the studio, so he paid for it all. So all of a sudden, he somehow figured he owned us and all of our music too.
Uh-huh.
And so we got it all tied up in a bunch of legal crap. And so needless to say, we all got fed up with this guy, and we all disbanded. So like 30 years ago, we were kicking ass. I mean, we had a following. We had a following so dedicated that they drove all the way from Fresno to Hollywood, which is about 300 miles one way, to come see us play on a Sunday night. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, that's
crazy. I was blown away. That was great. I mean, I was just, wow, that's great, man. They really love us, And so it was going great, and then his dumb things just got us all fed up, and so we ended up just breaking up. We never saw each other again, and here I am with my band's record in my drawer, and I would take it out, I would take it out every 5 to 10 years, play it, reminisce, wrap it back up in the metal bandana, stick it back in the drawer, and wait for another 5 or 10 years and pull it out and reminisce again, all the while thinking, wow, it's too bad we never got signed and we never released it and we never did this, never did that, So in the early 90s, I just gave up the idea of doing that anymore, except for occasionally, picking up my guitar and playing it, but I wasn't doing it on a serious level. And so 25 years passed, and I was playing my guitar one day, and I came up with this kick-ass tune, which is going to be in our new release. And I started playing all these riffs, and I said, man, you know what? Somehow that song, I don't know why, but somehow that song just kicked me right back into it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start doing this again. So I started gearing up. I started taking classes at the local store about, the new age, digital recording systems, which I knew nothing about.
Right.
And that drove me up the wall trying to learn, you know. And I barely know it now. I just know enough now to put my ideas down and overdub parts and do tracks. But when it comes down to actually doing our next record, I'm not going to do it myself. I'm just using it to get my bearings right. But anyway, so 30 years later, you know, I still have this tape. And as I'm taking these classes, they're teaching me how to release my music on iTunes and TuneCore and all this stuff.
Right.
So I got the idea, hey, man, it's not over yet. So I took this release and I edited it down to 6 songs. It's a 6-track EP. It's called The Overlord Messiah from Retched. And excuse me. And I released it. And I released it because it should have been released, but the guy screwed us over.
Right.
You know. And so I released it I digitized it. It was off of a cassette tape.
Wow, okay.
And it was like a 4th generation copy of the original cassette, mind you.
Okay.
So, but check it out. It's totally clean now. I don't know if you gave it a listen, but I sent it to you.
Yeah, I did.
But anyway, I mean, could you imagine? You can't tell, can you?
No.
I can't. Well, so I put it on Bandcamp, and then like less than 2 months passed, and this dude from Malone Records wants to sign us and produce our record of physical CDs and vinyls, which our vinyls will be coming out very soon, like a couple of weeks from now, supposedly, according to them.
Okay.
Our CDs are already made, and I have a limited amount left, but I can get more from the label if I need them. I'll probably get some more. But anyway, so I agreed to this deal, which then he told me, well, do you have the masters? I said, no, I can't get the masters. He goes, why? I go, because this idiot never paid the studio, so they went into collections, and he never even physically went and picked them up. But later on, he got it. Later on, he ended up having to pay collections, so he, by default, paid for it. And so they were still in the studio. The studio wouldn't release them to me. Can you imagine that? They're still on their shelves.
Wow.
And I was blown away, you know. So I couldn't get the masters, so I sent him that cassette. And I said, let your engineer down there in Athens, Greece, see what he can do with this. Mm-hmm. And his name is George Aspiotis from Studio Aspiotis in Athens, Greece. That dude is a wizard, and he loves traditional old school heavy metal, which is what that is.
Right. You
know, with a little pinch of thrashy beats here and there. And so he worked his magic and actually cleaned that up. I mean, and he sent me pictures and stuff of how he did it, you know, with the alcohol and Q-tips, and he'd spent 2 months cleaning that thing.
Wow.
But he did it. And who does that? Nobody does that.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Right?
He loved it. He loved it so much that he spent all 2 whole months doing it. I was all, wow, George, you're a wizard, dude. You're the man. And he goes, thank you. You know, I can't see this going to waste. And so because of him, you know, we got our excellent audio reproduced, you know. And he even said, well, this ain't the greatest thing. But I said, oh, man, yes, it is. It sounds great, you know.
Right.
And he sent me back the files. And there we have it. You know, so the shorter version of this story is it's never too late, you know, and it was my band. And I did perform these songs, so I have every right to release it, I say.
Right.
And in the meantime, I'm still trying to locate these old members to let them know that I finally got our record released. Let's party down, you know.
Right.
But it's a little bit of a job because there's a big gap in 30 years. I don't even know if some of these guys are still alive, but I'm going to find out. You know,
Wow.
my last attempt to get a hold of them. is to go back to our hometown, put out a notice with the local news and paper and the newspaper and hopefully some of the news stations, and see if I can get an awareness started that, hey, you know, I did this and I'm looking for these guys,
Right.
and even put up a cash reward, you know, like $50-$100. You know, somebody knows something, because I mean, we had a big following. We had at least 30 dedicated fans that would actually drive 300 miles to see us, and that says a lot. You know, I don't know anybody these days that would do that. You know, but well, I guess there's still a lot of people that will, you know, do that for their favorite band.
Right.
But it was great because that just told me we were one of their favorite bands because they did that. You know. So it was a very, very big honor to see these kids come all the way from our hometown and follow us. I was all, wow. You know, I did not expect that, you know. So it was a great feeling, you know, and I was really honored by that. And so now here we are 30 years later. This old release is brand new, only because it was never released.
Right.
And, you know, people still dig it. I get good reviews. I got tons of reviews all over the world. I mean,
Right.
in Europe and in Australia, you know, we're getting plays all over the world on radio stations. In France, they're blowing it up in France because I put it up on one of those radio station promotions.
Right.
And they distribute it to other radio stations. And so shit, we're finally even getting royalties.
Wow.
You know, in fact, I counted $1,000 worth of royalties that BMI already has waiting for us when they distribute them again. I was like, wow, it's about time, because I mean, you know, we haven't done any profits hardly except a sale here and there. And I've given more of our CDs away to friends and family and people that like metal that I got to meet.
Right.
Just because that's how I am, you know, and I figure, you know, so what if I don't have to sell it all. I can give it away too if I want, you know. And so that's what I've been doing. And anyway, we got patches, you know, and I got about, I think, 50 patches left. I'm going to get some more made though. And it's just been great, man. Great reviews all over the world. You know, people are digging it, and it is making sales. The label says they've sold about maybe 200 copies worldwide. It's sold in Japan, you know, Brazil, all kinds of places. You know, and it's just great, you know, because, I mean, can you imagine after feeling like you were just raped and beaten and put away and just discarded for 30 years,
Right.
that finally somebody likes it and wants to hear it and all that? I was like, wow, man. And I didn't know this when I released it. I did not know this because, I mean, I've been totally out of the scene, you know, as far as looking at what's going on. And I didn't know this, but the old school metal is coming back in popularity. Even the young kids, like teenagers, are getting into the stuff that I was into back in high school.
That's a good
You
thing.
know, in fact, I seen this one of those skinny. He must have been about 13 years old, or maybe he couldn't have been more than 15. But I was in the Guitar Center one day checking out an amp, and I started ripping on the Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden, this skinny little kid comes ripping around the corner, right around the amp, and starts singing right there on cue, man. And it was the funniest thing. I mean, I was like, yeah, that is cool, man. These youngsters are still into that, you know.
Right.
I mean, it was crazy because, I mean, you know, that's the last thing you expect. You know, there's like a 30-year-old song that you just, you know, play a few riffs on, and some kid rips around the corner and starts singing the song. It was wild, man, you know. And anyway, after I released it, though, I started finding out that the old school metal's coming back. You know, there's more people trying to play that style. There's a whole bunch of brand new bands coming out that do play that style now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's like, wow, man, I just popped it out right in time, didn't I?
Yeah.
Without knowing. that was crazy, man. So this whole experience has been a mind-blowing thing,
I
just,
can imagine.
I mean, just the fact that, okay, check this out. I mean, I used to dream when I was a kid, that, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if my song was on a radio station somewhere and blah, 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 and I had a record made, and it would be cool if I had this and that. Now I got all of that stuff happening, man, and within like a year's time, I was like, wow, I am living the dream, for the most part, but I keep it real though, I keep it real because, I know that there's a long damn way up, and I'm climbing like a cliff, and I'm trying to find little stones I can grab onto bit by bit so I can climb a little higher every time,
Right.
But it's working. It's really crazy, but it's working. And so, I do have my work cut out for me because I work 50 hours or more a week.
Oh,
And then, I'm trying to balance a family, and my job and stuff, so it's going to take me some time. I think though that, I got a target date of December 2018 is when I want to release my full length album.
Yeah.
And,
are you planning,
to me,
once you
it's a lot
find these
easier.
members, are you planning on maybe getting everybody back together and recreating the band again and start touring and making more albums, or what do you see for the future?
The future, I don't really see myself recreating the band with those guys, because they're at least 300 miles away from where I live now, if they're even in our hometown again. So I don't know. I don't have any clue where they're at. I know that there's a lot of distance between me and hardly any other players, except for my drummer Dave Ezel. He's right here, but out here in the desert where I'm at, there are a few players, but most of them, they want to play other styles of music. And I'm not going to sit around waiting for the dream team to happen because, I got all this stuff boiling inside me. I'm going to do most of the instruments myself, except for the drums, because Dave wants to play with me. So,
okay.
We're going to see what we can do. We're working on getting it together. And I'm doing the bass, the vocals, and all the guitars, and he's going to handle the drums and vocals on his side. And so that's really what the plan is. And then once we release this next album, we're probably going to try, if my schedule stays this way, it's going to be real hard to get a band going, but I am going to keep producing music regardless either way. Retched isn't going away anytime soon. We're going to be on your case and in your face every chance I get,
Right.
because I can do it that way now, because of the use of technology. And it's great because guys who are in my position no longer have to say, yeah, that would be great, but I don't have time. No, make time. You can do it if you want to, and make it happen for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be a lot of work and you have to be willing to do it. Luckily, my wife is 100% behind me in all this, and she's just a blessing. I don't have somebody that's always saying, "Why you got to buy this now?" And why? Because I got to buy a lot of stuff still, but I got enough to get me going right now,
Mm-hmm.
But, then I'm trying to get a house probably in the spring, because right now me and my family were separated, not because we want to be, but because my actual work is 2 hours away from where I live. So I got an apartment right next to my job until I can get a house for us, and then I'm going to build my studio in there and get to work. I still have my stuff. I can still record right now, and it's no big deal, but it would be a lot more convenient if I had a home to come home to that, we're all in one house and my one room set up and, everything's moving like a clock, so that's what the plan is there. And, depending on how things go, once we're in the position where we can finance a tour, because because we're on a record label, that really doesn't mean anything, and it means a lot less to me now than it did last year because I see the big picture,
Right.
and they don't give us any percentage of what they sell, you know. So why do I need them? You know, I can press my own CDs and vinyls and artwork and all that stuff and put it on my Bandcamp site, and I can get paid. Why not? You know what I mean? I don't need a record label, and so you know, I'm just going to build this thing. You know, it is a thing already, but I mean, I'm going to get it to where I'm going to have this whole setup where I'm going to be just popping out releases from now on. After this next release, I'll be working on the next release and the next release and the next release. We're not going away. I mean, you're going to see us around, you know. You'll see articles. You'll see us in, you know, social media. You'll see us on the internet. We have a really big internet presence for, you know, for just coming out for 1 year. You know, I think we have a big internet presence, you know, compared to, you know, our, you know, how we are right now. So it's a really awesome thing because it's working for me, you know, and I'm really just jazzed totally about it. But like I said, it's a long way up from here, but we're moving up, you know. And so I'm really happy with the progress and how things have gone. And, you know, that last release I put out really opened a major door for me so I can have a platform to put my new stuff on. You know, because everybody who knows us already that's going to be welcoming us right through the door, you know, when it comes time to put out the new release. And then I go with the promotions all over again. But, you know, it's going to be a lot less hassle because, you know, when I started, I did not know anything. And I barely know a little bit right now, you know, about how to do stuff and that. But I know what I don't want to be doing. and I do have a lot of good contacts now. I just, yeah, you know, it's amazing. You know, it's amazing to me because, you know, it's just like, wow, you know, I thought for sure, I mean, it felt like game over. You're never going to do nothing with it. You could play, but you're not going to get to go there, you know, but then a year later, here we are, you know. And originally, I just put it on Bandcamp to see what it would do. I mean, I still don't have any expectations because in this business, you can't have expectations. I mean, you know what you want to do and you know what would be great and all that. But for me, if I expect to do this, and this, you know, outside of releasing a record in a certain time, I mean, but you can't say, oh yeah, we're going to be, you know, on the charts over here by a year or two from now, and blah, 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 and all these unrealistic goals. I don't do that. You know, I just take it a day by day, step by step. Okay, today I could do this. Okay, I'm going to release my record, you know, and I'm going to do these interviews, and I'm going to put it out all over, you know, and just step by step, you know, and come what may, you know, it's all been positive. You know, I don't have anything that I regret in this last year after releasing this record, you know, so, and also if some of these guys finally get to know that this is our stuff that I released, they're gonna, if they look it up, they can contact me because everything leads back to contacting me because I'm the main one who does interviews and manages and promotes and does all that for this band.
Right.
You know. It's, you know, before it was a solo project, and I was going to do everything, but I met Dave last year, and we've been working together, but, you know, it's been a hard process because he's got a schedule that's crazy, too, and then him and his wife just had a baby, so, well, I got to see how this is all going to work with him, but, like, if he can't do it, that's fine, you know, I don't have no hard feelings towards Dave at all. Because I'm going to get a drum set anyway because I love drums too. So I'm going to start getting in there, you know, and and playing, you know. But if he can't do it, I'll do the drums. And if not, I'll hire somebody who can, you know. But either way, I mean, it's going to happen regardless, you know, because it has to.
Right.
You know, it has to. So.
Eventually, you think you're going to be, adding any other members? Like if you eventually, go out on tour and try and make this, a bigger thing, then you're going to need, I think, more than just you and him.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was the plan, and it still is the plan. But on the other side of that, I'm not going to try and go on tour if there's no budget for it.
Yeah.
You know, because that's the thing. I got a family I got to take care of. I have to make sure that I have taking care of my family, you know, and if the music don't do it money-wise, then I'm going to have to stay where I'm at working. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be releasing music and doing all this, because I'm doing it now.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of like a coin toss. It'll be either I'm going to stay a studio musician that releases his stuff all the time, or, you know, eventually work it into a live band situation. Now, I don't have anything against a live band situation, but the reality, again, my location is I'm like 2 hours away from anywhere that some players are, like LA, you know, and then fighting the traffic every other day to come up this way and play. I don't think that a lot of guys are going to be willing to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not saying that can't happen, but it's a possibility that nobody's going to want to fight the LA traffic to come to band practice and then have to fight it all the way back again, you know? So, you know, in reality, you know, I expect that. And in reality, I expect that I'll probably end up just staying in the studio, you know, unless I get some major things happening income-wise. Because, again, it all boils down to, can you afford a tour? Can you afford to go touring? Because I'm not gonna jump in a van that's all broke down with my band and our equipment and try to get from here to there and travel around and hobble around. I mean, we're either gonna do this first class or we're not, you know, and my reason behind that is because, again, you know, I got to take care of my family, you know, I got to make sure there's money there. I got to make sure that, you know, everything's right, you know, and if I can keep those conditions happening and go on tour, then more power to me.
Right.
But, you know, I got many obstacles because I'm out here in the middle of the desert. I mean, and there ain't hardly any players here at all. I mean, there's a few, yes, but a lot of them don't want to play this style of music. They want to play other stuff.
Right.
So, you know, it's hard. It's hard. But the good news is that's not going to stop me.
Right.
That's the good news.
Right.
So that's what I'm looking at.
So now you were mentioning you do have some few CDs and you're handing them out. So if people wanted to get them, I mean, they can actually download them on iTunes or where?
Yeah, we're on iTunes. We're on almost every digital platform you can think of. All you got to do is type in Retched, the Overlord Messiah, and it'll come up. It's on iTunes. It's on YouTube Music. It's on Apple Music, and a whole bunch of others. They say we're on Pandora too, but I haven't seen that yet. I've been looking for us on the search and it hasn't come up, so I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, DistroKid is our digital platform, and also Bandcamp too. Bandcamp, I like Bandcamp because you can go there and get digital download, and you can choose what type of audio file you want. Do you want an MP3 or do you want a WAV file?
Right.
WAV files are the best because those are CD quality. And so, you know, but the other thing is that if you go submit your music to all these, you know, radio stations and stuff, they usually want MP3.
Right.
So I got two versions with me, you know, like the ones I sent you.
Yeah.
I could either send you WAV or I could send you MP3. You know, if I choose to send it to someone, you know, for free, you know, I'll send them that and, you know, the artwork. It's more or less like I sent you.
Right.
you know. So, anyhow, it's amazing what technology does these days, you know. It's
Yeah,
amazing
because you
that
think, if you didn't have all this technology, you wouldn't really be able to do what you're doing now.
exactly, because see, back in the day when we were coming up, back in the day, our internet was how many poles can you go and tack your flyer to?
Right.
And so like until you run out of paper or you run out of nails, you're that far. That's your promotional perimeter.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's amazing that, because like now you can send a link to somebody. Say you want to audition your band with somebody. So you send them a link, like I could send my Bandcamp link and they can stream your music a couple times. Or you could go to our SoundCloud link and I could send you my SoundCloud link and you could audition our music there and decide whether you want to put us on the bill and have us play at your club or not. So it actually is awesome because, it saves a lot of time. Because before you'd have to either go there and physically audition or physically go there and play your music for them with a little boom box or something, back in the day. So it's opened up a massive, workflow. I mean, and it's easy, it's quick, and they get to just click a button and then all of a sudden they're listening to it. And they'll say, yeah, we want these guys on our bill, or no, we don't like these guys, or, whatever they want to do, but it's a lot easier now. Man, I wish we had that back in the day. I wouldn't be talking about that right now.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm 52 years old and I'm still doing it, I'm gonna be doing this until I die. You're gonna have to bury me in my bullet belt. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
I'm shackled to my bullet belt for all eternity, just like Gamma Bomb. The song Gamma Bomb has a song called Bullet Belt, and that's like the theme song for Retched. It talks about legions of thrashers with nothing to thrash to on the city streets,
Yeah.
Until we come out and said, hell with that. We're not going to let this go on, and so it's a real cool song. Anyway, that's more or less my theme song right there, because that's how I feel.
Right.
Shout out to my bullet belt for all eternity. Yep. Yeah,
right.
so that's where we're at right now.
Okay. Well, anything else you want to add before
Yeah,
we
I would,
end it?
please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, look us up on Bandcamp. Just go to the Bandcamp site, and put in Retched, Retched, the Overlord Messiah, and our record will pop up, all our bio and all the credits and all that stuff, and you could choose whatever music file you want to download, MP3 or waves, or even FLAC. And I don't know much about that one, but it's a different type of file. Or you could go to iTunes or pretty much any other digital platform and look us up, and you'll find us there. Or if that don't work, you can search us, search Retched, the Overlord Messiah on just the Google search bar, and if you put Retched and then the Overlord Messiah, anything that has to do with the band, all the articles, all the magazine articles are there. And I don't know how they got there. I didn't put them there, but everything just ties there. So like you go there and it'll tell you our Bandcamp site, iTunes, and it has all these articles and past magazine articles that I did. So it's really great. I mean, I didn't expect that. I found that by accident too one day. I said, I wonder what happens if I Google up our name and album title and see what happens. And then all this stuff just came down. I was like, whoa, cool. So you can't miss us if you try.
Okay.
So I really want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to interview with you tonight. I mean, it's been a real honor. I looked you up and I seen a lot of your activity. I see that you you do a lot of, you go and see a lot of shows and probably interview a lot of bands that way.
Yeah.
And, you look like you're really popping. So that's great. It's great to know you. I'm glad to be a friend, and, I hope to talk to you, some more later on when we have more new stuff to talk about.
Right.
You know.
Well, thanks for
Mm-hmm.
sitting down and talking with me. I know you're a busy man. You sound like a very busy man. So,
Yeah.
and I hope to hear good things, and I hope that one day we'll get to meet and actually see you perform on stage somewhere close, like Houston or
That would
San
be
Antonio or
great.
Dallas,
Yeah,
somewhere close.
that would be great. I'll try. We're gonna be trying to. I'm going to be trying to. Not trying, but I'm going to get a lyric video made pretty soon of a couple of our tracks, or maybe the whole thing. I don't know. But
Yeah.
we'll see how that works out. But I'm gonna start putting up some lyric videos on YouTube. But we are on YouTube Music, so we're already there, for the most part. You come up, you can play our tracks. It'll show you the album artwork and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. And also, I'm going to be putting our merchandise on Bandcamp very soon. Our vinyls are almost ready to come out.
Right.
They should be here any week now. And also, I'll have a limited stack of 50 for sale. And I might pick up some more CDs from our label and put them on, because I only have a few left of my own that I got when we initially did this.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I'm gonna put all our merchandise real soon, and our patches. We got a pretty cool logo patch that I like, and we're gonna put that up there, and maybe some T-shirts pretty soon too. I'm not sure yet, but for right now, what I do have, I'm gonna put up and make that happen.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
that sounds good. I look forward to seeing everything and watching you and hoping to see you grow. Sounds awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Lisa.
Thanks for sitting down with me tonight, and have a good evening.
You too. It's been a pleasure and an honor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.